you're on here liking pictures of thirsty boys in their underpants, and Aunt Suzanne might see that if she clicks on her following tab at just the right moment. She'll be like, what is he doing? Yeah.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Tether Radio Podcast, the only podcast keeping you from spiraling out into the infinite abyss. I'm your host, Daniel, and I'm joined, as always, by the near and dear Allie.
What up?
What up, dude? Did you have a good week?
I did. I started my new job, and it's really good.
Ooh, yeah, how is that going?
Man, it's really good. I really like all the people and stuff, and the job itself seems like it's going to be good. The office is real cool.
Yeah.
It's really laid back.
That's always nice.
Oh, it's so good. And I told myself I would not tell my coworkers about having a podcast, and the first chance I got with two of them, I was like, I have a podcast. So, hey, if you guys are listening, yeah, I'm just as strange as I seem.
Yeah,
probably a lot more on here than at work.
Yeah. Hey, here at Tether, we embrace strange. So.
We seek it out, really.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Dude, Jesse described me to a friend of ours yesterday as a drunk librarian, and I was like, listen, okay, that's completely accurate.
You just hit him with the You're being too loud. I'm trying to
also refill my beer.
Exactly. Well, I got to try out something this week that Allie told me to check out.
Uh-oh.
Cotton candy grapes.
Oh, yeah!
Dude, holy shit.
They're wild. I don't know how they do it. It's got to be terrible for you. Like it's got to be like some crazy food chemistry. But
dude.
Man, they're so good.
But you know what? I think the ones that we bought actually were listed as like non-GMO, which I find that very hard to believe.
How can they not?
They taste like cotton fucking candy.
Yeah, dude.
It literally tastes like cotton candy. So which I found mine at Kroger, and I would say that you would be able to find them.
They're about everywhere.
Pretty much everywhere.
I know they've got them at Publix too, because I saw them there the other day too. Yeah, they're pretty easy to find when they're out.
They were good.
They're so good.
They were good. They were just really... I ate like 5, and I was like, all right, I'm set.
Yeah, you can't just eat as many of those. Like, green grapes, I can just eat all day.
They're expensive as shit.
Yeah.
They were it was like, I think it was like $4 and something for like...
Yeah.
Maybe like a half pound or something like that. It was steep,
Man,
but...
I need to find some more of those before they're sold out, or before they go out of...
season.
Thank you. I'm like, out of style? That's not the right...
No, but when I was getting rang up at Kroger, the lady that was the cashier or whatever, she was like, "Oh, cotton candy grapes are back in," and I was like, "Yeah, I know. I tried to come
years.
Well, she was talking about last week they ran out of or whatever, and so they got a new shipment in. That's why I actually got some, but
I'm kind of sad though, because they still just look exactly like normal green grapes.
Yeah,
and if you're gonna just chemistry
GMO the fuck out of it.
Make them like purple and sparkly. I mean,
I want unicorn grapes. That's what I want, like the Starbucks thing or whatever.
Dude, I was uninstalling my podcast app that I use because it was having an issue yesterday, and I reinstalled it and it fixed it because I'm a genius. That fixes like everything.
Yeah.
But when I went to reinstall it, one of the the spotlight apps that came up was some 8-bit looking unicorn game, and I downloaded it just because I like the icon so much. I may not ever open it, but man, it's cute on that screen.
That is awesome. Oh my god. Well, I was trying to think of what else has been going on this week.
I've got another thing I wanted to mention.
Yeah, what's up?
I really like a ton of podcasts that are out there, and one that I love is Reply All, that does weird tech support for people. Mm-hmm. They did an episode this week on the 30 to 50 feral hogs tweet, which I was so all in on. Twitter lost its mind for a week about that, and I loved it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh yeah, this is gonna be goofy. They interviewed the guy who posted the tweet, and he's pretty together and normal, and he legit does have this issue with feral hogs, and they really researched it. It was really interesting. I didn't know feral hogs really were such a problem, and it's wild.
So dude, I'm apparently I was living under a rock. So can you give a little background on it?
Okay, yeah. So what's his name? Country dude. Jason Isbell tweeted something after one of the shootings a couple months back that said something like, nobody needs assault weapons. And this guy was not trying to pick a fight or anything, but he tweeted something like, okay, sure, but what am I supposed to do about the 30 to 50 feral hogs that show up within 3 to 5 minutes of letting my small children out in the yard to play? And Twitter was like, hold up, you what? But this is legit. What? He really does have this issue.
Do you know where? Is this?
I don't remember. There was a lot of this in Texas. They said something like there's 6 million feral hogs in the U.S. and 3 million of them are in Texas. There are people who...
That is insane.
They've made a sport of shooting the feral hogs, and they're allowed to kill them any way they want to because they're so invasive. Like, they, explode them. They shoot them from helicopters.
I like that was the first one that you chose.
Well, that one stood out, man. That one really stood out.
It's like, dude, it just in a helicopter dropping
For
sticks
real.
of dynamite.
Well, that and shooting them, and they're out with their night vision on their souped up 4-wheelers, shooting them with silenced shotguns.
I mean, that kind of sounds fun.
Okay, yeah, and that's the big thing is so not only that, but there's people who have brought feral hogs to their land to hunt them for sport.
Oh, wow.
And but there's
That's
also
kind of fucked, but...
yeah, and then there's also all these people that are out there that they can't farm their stuff because these hogs are killing all their they're eating all their plants, they're doing all the stuff.
Yeah.
And feral hogs can reproduce so fast. They said one...
Up there with rabbits.
Dude, yeah. They said a female hog can have a litter once she's 6 months old.
What is a baby hog called? A hoglet? I'm just kidding. A piglet. Piglet!
No, that's
right?
pigs.
Oh, yeah,
It
that's a good point.
Hoglet. I don't know. Hoggle? I don't know. But once she's 6 months old...
Tether asking the questions that need to be asked.
So, she's 6 months old. She can have a litter up to 14 babies at a time.
Oh, Jesus.
Twice a year. So, one lady hog out here making 28 baby hogs every year.
That is insane.
And they're really smart. So, people on Twitter were like, why don't you just put a fence up and shut up? And the guy's like, no, they're smarter than fences. They're smarter than, if you, put a trap out and it traps one, all the others find out about that trap and how it works, then you'll never trap one that way again.
They come up with fences and they come up with fences and start protesting.
Yeah, and it's wild and they're big. I think they said something they can be 300 or 400 pounds. They're huge and they've got tusks. They are not your little your weird ass neighbor's potbelly pig.
Yeah.
Anyway, that episode was amazing.
I've heard that feral hogs, no shit, that can gore the hell out of shit with their husks.
Yeah, they can really mess some stuff up. And you wouldn't want giant feral hogs around your little kids. But,
no. Whew. But I do have to say, that's pretty incredible. That he would hit him back and be like, but what about the 30 to 50 feral hogs?
Dude, it was everywhere. It was seriously, that's all my Twitter feed was for an entire week. Probably more.
That's hilarious.
People were changing their, display names. Oh, man. I love it.
That's amazing. Oh, my God.
It was really cool.
Okay. Well, honestly, I don't even know where to go for the 30 to 50 feral hogs.
Hey, we're talking hogs. I can talk cows.
Oh, let's do it.
All right. So, I saw a total clickbaity article and I fell for it because I'm me and I can't stand it. A study by scientists in Japan found one weird trick that farmers will hate you for. They're painting cows to look like zebras. And the surprising benefit that got me to click to see what the benefit was, it makes a lot of reduction of biting flies.
Which, real quick though, Allie, the way that we do Tether, just for anyone out there, we have
the sausage is made.
We basically aggregate articles over the course of the week, and then we'll have a phone call and go over what we want to talk about on the actual podcast. And in our little spreadsheet, she hits me with basically the best clickbait possible. Under that article description, it was, other cows hate her for this one trick you won't believe. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. But that's really cool though that it actually has some kind of an effect.
Yeah, it messes up the polarization of light, which impairs the fly's perception. So, like, they have a hard time landing on them. So they're just like, fuck it, and they go land somewhere else.
Oh my god.
It was pretty cool. They actually used these black cows in the study, and they painted white stripes on them, so they kind of looked like they were wearing skeleton costumes. It was really cute.
Nice and spooky for
Very
October.
Spooky. And yeah, they the ones that were painted like zebras were bitten around 50% less than the ones that were just solid black.
So I wonder how they like measured that. Like every time they like cow
Right?
jerks
I guess,
or something.
Yeah, that'd be really hard to measure. I don't know. Maybe you could like spray them with something that reacts to where they got bitten, or there's probably some science thing that we don't know about.
Yeah, but the cool thing that when we were going over this article, or one of the cool aspects that Allie was talking about, was just the fact that these biting flies, the effect that they have on the actual herds and stuff.
Yeah, because like you're not just out there being like, my cows, I don't want them to get bit.
Be uncomfortable.
They're good critters. Like it's not just that. I mean, sure, that's part of it. They're good critters, but the fly bites cause the cows to bunch together, which increases their heat stress, and so you could have more heat stroke or whatever different medical conditions from that.
Yeah.
And then when they're close together, they're also doing stuff to get rid of the flies. So they're throwing their heads and they're foot stomping, and that's making them injure their buddies.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it said like just biting flies cost the cattle industry billions of dollars a year.
That's insane. Yeah.
So, out here painting our cows.
Dude, wouldn't that be incredible if that like really like caught on?
I would love that.
And it's just like, oh my God, exit strategy. We're gonna get into the cow paint business.
Well, apparently right now they use pesticides to kind of get rid of the flies, but they don't want to do that because long-term effects, like you get immune to the pesticides, and you never want to use a pesticide.
Yeah.
So
then you create some mutant fly that like can bite through like Kevlar or something. It's like, geez.
Man, they already got to be pretty vicious if they can bite a cow. Like.
Have you ever
I have not bit a cow. Have you bit a cow?
Have you ever bit a cow? This one time, no. But like horseflies, I would think that they're probably like similar. And holy shit, that those things hurt.
Those guys are awful.
Yeah, and they're huge.
Yeah,
they're
fucking beasts. Yeah.
I remember when we lived out in Granger, horseflies were just everywhere because we literally lived on a cattle farm.
Yeah,
and yeah, my God, what my cousin who they had a pool behind their house, and like, dude, you would get eaten up, and you'd have to jump in the water just to like disrupt the flies and stuff.
Man,
and
that reminds me. Did you ever have sweat bees? We always had a million. I hated those little guys.
Which I did find out something.
Yeah.
If you'll use darker towels when you're outside, then it looks less like a flower. And so less like insects and bees and stuff will actually be like whatever. Because most of the time people have like yellow and red.
Especially for like a beach towel.
Yeah, you know. Yeah. And, but yeah, if you use a darker towel, they're actually less attracted to that shit.
And then I show everybody that I'm actually goth.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah, sure, I'm out here at the pool, but no, I'm still in all black.
Well, dude, so honestly, we're looking for sponsorships, so Hot Topic, get at us. We're sending people your way. Oh my God.
Amazing.
But no, that's I think that is pretty cool though, that something as simple as, and
as silly, really. Like it looks. They look like chubby zebras. They're pretty great.
Yeah, exactly. But all right, well, cool. Well, where are we going to head from here?
I don't know. We're kind of all over the place this week, but we got some good stuff. They just don't transition into each other.
Yeah, right, dude. Why don't you walk us through this Tetris?
I was just about to say, let's talk about this one. Okay, so my mom hates Alex Trebek. She hates him. And
why?
Dude, it's so funny. My dad loved watching Jeopardy, and I loved watching Jeopardy, and my grandma always had it on. Mom hates Trebek. Like, to this day, if you bring up Trebek, my mom will be like, ugh.
Yeah.
So, Mom says he's smug, and he thinks he knows everything. And I'm like, Mom, he's got all those cards. Like, he knows the questions. And she's like, it's just his attitude. It's how he comes off. I'm like, I think of Trebek as, like, my own grandfather. Yeah. Like, I love Trebek. So anyway, I really need to tell Mom this story because it's going to make her happy. So, Alex Trebek read a question this week. I'm sorry, read the answer. You have to call in with the question. Yeah. Trebek said, the 7 rotatable blocks used in this video game have names, I can't even say it, have names like Orange Ricky, Hero, and Smash Boy.
Smash Boy.
Smash Boy is actually my legal middle name.
Yeah,
I don't know if you knew that.
Get at me.
So I'm really not sure who researched this question, but whoever did apparently fell for a joke tweet from February where this dude mocked up a Tetris game manual to show that the pieces had these goofy names.
That is so
and
awesome.
The names listed were Orange Ricky and Blue Ricky, Cleveland Z, Rhode Island Z, Hero, Tiwi, and Smash Boy. And like I say it all the time, but God, I love the internet. I love the internet.
It is both the like bane of my existence and the most incredible thing ever.
Yeah.
You know,
I love when fake, just silly stuff makes it into the real news, and people are like, "Have you heard the news about Smash Boy?" And sit down, Brokaw.
The number one comment on this thing. I vote to actually make these names canon. That is fucking incredible.
Oh, man. Jeez. I love it. Oh, it's so good. I'm just saying, I think Trebek probably lost sleep over that. Like, I think he eventually, got some, like, maybe he's got some secret Twitter. Ricky. And he's out there and he's just like he wakes up in the middle of the night and he's like, damn Orange Ricky.
Dude, that is so incredible. God, man.
Amazing.
I just love it. I love it, man. Orange Ricky. Orange Ricky. I want to have a shirt made with Orange Ricky, man. Just like, God. That's what we need to do. We need to make Tether shirts and just have this be the image on it.
Tetris with Tether.
Tetris
I love
with
it.
Tether.
Catchy.
Man. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Let's see. I got one more kind of silly, well, just smaller news, I guess, about Instagram.
Sure. Let's do it.
Instagram is, this actual title, Instagram is killing its creepy stalking feature, the following tab.
Which I was not that familiar with the Instagram following tab. And Allie kind of walked me through it a little bit. And the first word that came to mind when she was telling me about it was, well, that's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
Or that's kind of stalkery.
Yeah. So, like, a quote from the article says, there are numerous stories of people's illicit or private activities being outed because of what they were liking and following on Instagram. Mm-hmm. So, I know there's a lot of people out there who just don't want their family or even certain friends or coworkers or whoever seeing what they're liking and commenting on and who they're following on Instagram. Which you can still see who people are following. You can go to their profile and click following and scroll through all that. But this was a live feed that would show anyone who clicked onto it, everybody that they're following on Instagram and the comments they're leaving, the likes, who they just followed.
Just any activity, pretty much.
It was wild. Right? Yeah. And I follow around 3 zillion accounts on my Instagram.
Yeah.
So I never looked at that because when I did, it was so much.
Well, how would you even read it, right? Because it's just like...
But there's a whole thing that the youth out here are doing called making a Finsta. Which they make a fake Instagram that they only tell their closer friends about so people don't see everything about that account. So your Finsta is more unfiltered from what my research has told me.
Dude, so... I was just like scanning this article.
Yeah.
I've never heard of micro cheating.
Okay, I mentioned that.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so like where that's kind of the idea of say a girl is out here liking every photo that some guy friend posts and her boyfriend sees that and blows up on her.
Yeah.
Like, okay, is that cheating? Like, you're just liking some posts.
Yeah, right.
Y'all need to find something to be worried about.
Yeah, seriously. I think that, you need to talk about your relationship more than get pissed about, quote, micro cheating. So,
but it is good because, like, I know, there's people who are gay and not out to, say, their grandparents, and you're on here liking pictures of thirsty boys in their underpants, and Aunt Suzanne might see that if she clicks on her following tab at just the right moment. She'll be like, what is he doing? Yeah. But you still gotta have Aunt Suzanne on Instagram because she knows you're on there. Yeah. So you have her follow your main, and she never knows about your real one.
Damn, dude. I didn't realize how complicated social media was.
Dude, I cannot imagine being a kid growing up. Like, it was so exhausting to be, like, in 8th grade and be just such a dork and so conscious of it. And you have to try so hard all day at school to be normal and cool.
Yeah, to appeal to like the 50 people in your class
and
or
now
your grade.
You've got to do that all the time because you've got to be active on social and you've got to look cool all the time, and you got to be posting videos and oh god, it exhausts me.
There was actually, and it's funny that you'd bring that up. Joseph and I talked about this a little bit, just about the I don't know, the detrimental effect it's had on the youth these days, that it's like, oh, well, with the advent of social media, you're trying to appeal to literally 100 times what people used to try to appeal to, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, for instance, you know, I mean, like I said, living in Granger County, in my grade, there were 50 students, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it was like, it was tough enough trying to, like, not keep friends, but like appear cool.
Yeah,
you know?
Like that was hard, and already it's just hard to be 13 or 14.
Exactly.
You know?
You're just dealing with shit that it's, you know, your hormones are going fucking ape shit, and you're, you know, while whatever, you know, Susie's making fun of you because you have sideburns in 8th grade or whatever.
Dude, I had such frizzy hair growing up, and it was before like straighteners were they existed, but they didn't do shit.
Yeah.
So like I was just stuck with this big frizzy hair, and this one dude started telling everybody that I wore a wig. And I was like, if I wore a wig, I'd pick a better one. Like, no, why would shut up?
If I wore a wig, I'd pick a better one.
This would be the worst wig. I'd be like, give me my money back. This is awful.
This is really blowing up in my face. What's your return policy on your wigs?
Man, I hated that guy.
Yeah. Oh my god, he sounds like a real douchebag.
He was, man. He was. He lived down the street from my grandma, and I used to mow her yard. And he would come and stand in the neighbor's yard and just watch me the whole time I mowed, just to be a dick. And I'm like, you were the worst kind of person. God,
what a creep, man. I'm sure he cried some tears over the Instagram getting rid of this shit. Probably. He sounds like he sounds like their target audience for the following tab. So,
well, you know, I was thinking about this, and I was like, the few times that I did click over to the following tab, like just by accident, or like if I ever did it on purpose, it just felt like I was looking into people's underwear drawer. Like this isn't for me. I'm not supposed to see this.
Well, it's almost like micro social platforms, like knowing somebody's every move on social media versus just like, oh, a status update or whatever, you know. Yeah. Which I never really got into the status update shit, because it was just like having a great sandwich at Quiznos, you know, and it's like, guess what? I don't really care.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think that we're at a tipping point with social media, that people are realizing that there is such a thing as too much connectivity.
Oh, for sure.
And there is such a thing of minimizing your privacy to the point to where it's like, I mean, for instance, you know, I mean, we talked about Instagram launching that Threads thing. That it was like, oh, what is this, a step in the right direction kind of thing? Yeah. It's a kind of a cool feature and stuff, but like, you know, with everything, you've got people that are going to use it for the good, and you've got people that are going to use it for the bad. You know,
dude, they were like celebrities and stuff. The stuff from the following tab would make, like, I don't want to call it news, but make like gossip news headlines. Yeah. They would be like, so-and-so just followed so-and-so. We thought they were enemies. And I'm like, oh, God, who cares?
Yeah. I mean, why can't we just get back to the Brad and Angelina, you know? God, I feel like they were on tabloids for like 10 years straight or something.
Yeah, they were. Also, they had like 14 kids or something, so.
But a lot of them are adopted, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. I think they all are. I think.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
Jeez, that's some bizarre. Not that adoption is bizarre, but
no,
like,
but that many.
That's that many. In addition to the fact that like they just had a really bizarre run, I guess. Yeah. But anywho, let's see, where are we gonna go from here?
I don't know. What do you got?
You just want to hop into this Hong Kong protest?
Dude,
stuff?
Let's do it.
Let's do that.
It's gonna be a beast.
Yeah. So, unless you've been living under a rock, you are probably familiar with the 2019 Hong Kong protests. Now, Considering that it has gotten very little publicity since probably the origin of it, which was back in February of 2019. It was really weird because mainstream media picked it up and they kind of gave like an overview of it and stuff, and then whatever the next news cycle thing started, and literally everything's gone radio silent.
It almost feels like there's a gag order. Like someone's out there being like, don't talk about Hong Kong. And
someone
all the
like
journalists
China.
are like, okay. Right?
I mean, it's like, but so just to give a little bit of a background, because I'm not gonna do a super deep dive on why the protest is going on, but basically the long and the short of it, as my interpretation is, I think that it stemmed out from a murder that happened in Taiwan, and it was two vacationing Hong Kong residents, and so but currently there's not an extradition order that Taiwan would have to uphold, kind of thing, and so basically what has happened is. They wanted to push through this bill that was the anti-extradition law amendment. And so that would basically, it would basically allow people to be extradited from Hong Kong, I believe. Or I'm sorry, to Hong Kong. Okay. But the problem with all of this is the fact that it would also give whoever was included, what other countries were included on or in the bill for like reciprocity, it would give them more jurisdiction, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And what the people in Hong Kong were upset about was it would give mainland China more power, pretty much, over Hong Kong. And which is a constant. It seems like it has basically been like a constant. Like there's just some bad shit between Hong Kong and mainland China.
Right.
So that's kind of the background. I would 100% recommend that everybody check it out, because it is the scale. In my opinion, is they have done a complete and utter disservice to showing what kind of a scale they were working with.
Yeah.
I was under the impression that it was like, tens of thousands, maybe 100,000 kind of thing.
Right.
No, not at all. That's like a drop in the bucket. On June 9th, they actually... and I'm pulling this from Wikipedia, so yeah, take it with a grain of salt. Most of the time, it's pretty good.
Hey, Wiki has come a long way. Yeah. Remember when Wiki first started, and I had professors in college that would be like, "If you cite Wiki fucking pedia, I'm just gonna zero your whole grade."
Yeah, I'd completely
it would be like citing some rando's tweet.
Yeah.
Back then, but but now Wiki's
definitely gotten built out.
Now. Yeah.
And obviously the citations and stuff is huge steps forward. But basically what they were given credit for the first ever use of AI to measure protesting crowds, and they were able to use I guess facial recognition to differentiate two individuals to whatever count that as a person. They were able to use that to identify 517,478 individual people.
That means there were more.
Yeah, exactly.
How many were there?
Well, and that was the thing, is they were estimating somewhere between 500,000, which obviously I would think that's the low end.
Yeah.
Up to 800,000. You're talking about almost a fucking million people.
I can't even picture that.
No. And I mean, it's like I said, this is nothing is being covered. Unless you look at world news that's like whatever, like RT or something like that. You're not going to see it from Fox, CNN, MSNBC, any of these fools that are, bringing us the news that matters, and all this shit. But anyway, that's where the start of this little story that we're gonna go down the rabbit hole. So starting off with this, one of the being and I know I've said this a zillion times. I'm pretty big into the gaming community. I don't game as much as I would like to, but
Still follow it.
But I follow it
Yeah.
like pretty damn closely.
Yeah.
And so I pulled this one article from The Verge. Hearthstone player banned for supporting Hong Kong protesters during live stream. So it was kind of crazy. This guy that went by the alias Blitzchung. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce his real name, but he's a Hearthstone streamer. If you're not familiar with Hearthstone, it's literally a digital card game kind of thing that Blizzard. It's a property under Blizzard Entertainment, I guess. But anyway, so. During his stream, he was being interviewed, and basically, toward the end of his interview, he donned a faux, like, Hong Kong protester mask or at least a mask that looked like the Hong Kong protesters, and then he yelled, "Liberate Hong Kong, revolution of our age." Which there was actually a separate quote that it was a little bit different, like "revolution of our times" or something like that. I don't know if that really matters, but I kind of just wanted to mention it. But yeah, so after this happened, both the interviewers were fired. He was banned from basically playing Hearthstone for a calendar year.
Which is going to ruin any kind of career.
And in addition to the fact that this was in the middle of a Hearthstone tournament that he had already won $10,000, and that money was retracted.
Oh, jeez.
But the crazy thing is at the end of this article, they were talking about how because I was like, why did they fire the?
I just saw it.
Yeah, at the very end, they were like, It said that although they appeared to hide their faces, they being the two interviewers, as he expressed his support, one Twitter user claimed that the two had egged Blitzchung on, encouraging him to, quote, "say the 8 words, then we'll end the interview immediately."
Okay, wait. Their faces are really clear. Oh, they're saying they covered their faces during him saying it?
Yeah. If you actually watch the little embedded video, they like when he says it, they duck down behind their monitors and stuff. Okay. But so that's kind of where this little like gaming story starts.
Yeah.
After that, some Blizzard workers or developers and stuff, or I guess whatever, they work for Blizzard Entertainment. Employees. Thank you, Jesus. You're gonna talk about not being able to talk. My God, I'm tripping over my own shit. But anyway, so they organized like a little protest that they went down to the main lobby where all the executive offices kind of overlook into, and they there's all of these like placards that are hung around that basically say like whatever the mission statement and like of Blizzard and all that jazz. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so they papered over one that said like every voice matters or something like that, because it's very clear that people that have a large portion of their market in China. Yeah. They are just completely wiping their hands clean of these protests and stuff. And so these workers or employees of Blizzard went and did this little like protest kind of thing. And they also started using like hashtags, hashtag boycott Blizzard, because people were like, this is fucked up. They're literally silencing just someone's stance kind of thing, which Blizzard cited, I wanted to get this right. Let's see. Blizzard cited a competition rule which states that players aren't allowed to do anything that, quote, brings them into public disrepute, offends a portion or group of the public, or otherwise damages Blizzard's image.
Holy shit, that is such a broad...
Right.
Like, that...
Very vague.
That's deliberately vague so they can use that for anything.
Yeah, exactly. And it was really crazy, and this got a lot of traction within the gaming community.
Yeah.
And people were really pissed off, which rightfully so, man. I think that this is tech overstepping the boundaries and literally censoring shit.
It comes back to that thing that we keep talking about of the like, yeah, if I owned Twitter, I would also ban the Nazis. Like, no, you can't use my platform for your bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like, at what cost, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. No,
I mean, not with the Nazis, but in this case, at what cost are you censoring these people?
There's just a super fine line between like really moderating your platform and censorship, kind of thing. Yes. Which maybe that's saying the same thing in two different ways. No, I don't know. But anyway, so the last thing that I wanted to mention about this that I thought was really interesting is once this boycott Blizzard stuff caught on, a lot of people, which Blizzard, if you're not familiar, they were the developers for World of Warcraft and like basically World of Warcraft and Overwatch and Hearthstone, I believe, are like their big three properties. But I mean, when I say big three properties, I'm like they account for probably like a quarter to a half of like Twitch's streaming. Oh yeah, kind of shit. Yeah. You know, I mean, it's Overwatch is insane. I
didn't even know of Hearthstone, and like I'm sure it's huge.
Yeah, it is. I mean, Blizzard.
I mean, if Blizzard owns it, of course it's huge.
Well, and Blizzard. I mean, for a long time, Blizzard had the Midas touch when it came to gaming and stuff. So, but anyway, so people got really pissed off, and they wanted to support the Hong Kong protesters. So they were like, "Fuck this company, I want out." Well, Blizzard saw this mass exodus from their like, or at least this uptick, very large uptick in people either deactivating their accounts or trying to change their subscription stuff. And so Blizzard just shut it down and is not allowing people, as far as I know currently, all these people took to Twitter and they're like, look, I'm trying to like, you know, I'm trying to join this protest kind of thing and say fuck this, you know, Blizzard.
I want to deactivate my account as just a subscriber to your business.
Exactly.
Like, as an employee, that's more of a blurred thing.
Nuanced,
but as just like a customer, I can absolutely leave.
Yeah.
Well, and I guess not now because you won't let me. But
yeah, exactly. And so I mean, just to quote one of these, it was a Twitter user, Charlotte Mather. She tweeted out, "So now Blizzard have disabled all 4 authentication methods to actively stop people from deleting their accounts. This is beyond disgusting. Spread awareness of this." And this had, as of...
could you at least stop your payment?
Well, see, that's the funny thing, dude. They're like basically locking people out of their accounts. So that you can't change shit.
I'd be so mad.
Oh my god, dude. Also,
what if you just like are done? You just want to quit.
I know.
It's not.
It's like, dude, I want to. Yeah, I just honestly, I don't like Hearthstone anymore, man.
Look at this game.
Yeah.
Why can't I delete it?
But the crazy thing is, and I mean, this makes complete and utter sense.
Yeah.
But legally, and this is literally the last sentence in this Game Rant article that because I've kind of been jumping among about 3 different articles, but they were talking about legally the company is not allowed to block users from altering their subscription preferences, and this could 100% result in a class action lawsuit if alleged practices continue.
Jeez.
So they are like. they might be in some fucking hot water, basically.
Man, I hate when I go to cancel something and it's complicated. Like if you have to call them to cancel, I'm like, in the year of our Lord 2019,
yes,
and you make me call a human.
Dude, which I actually, so Megan and I, when we first had Finn, we got a Babies R Us credit card.
Yeah.
Because you got like some insane, you know, I mean, we were like, fuck it, whatever, our credit's fine.
Yeah.
You know, let's do this.
Get some points.
Yeah. And so, well, shit, dude, we got the credit card and then fucking Toys R Us goes under.
Oh, shit.
And so, I've got this credit card, which now I don't.
Right.
But, that we used like 3 times because it got us, 5% extra off and like blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, I don't want to call. I don't want to deal with this and then them try to fucking upsell me or whatever. Because basically the the processor or whatever, the credit company just got changed to a different credit card company.
Yeah.
And but it was actually a really good experience.
Oh, really?
I was like surprised. I was dreading it, and I was like calling in, you know, and I'm like, yeah, I want to cancel it, blah, blah, and they're like, okay, it's canceled.
Wow.
I was like, okay.
Well, they were probably getting a ton of them because the company went under.
Yeah. Well, and plus it's like, dude, that's why people, you know.
Years ago, somebody opened me a Discover card. I didn't. I don't know who did. So, I
believe that's referred to as fraud or identity theft.
I don't know, man. Like, nothing else ever came of it. It's been, God, I don't know. It was before I was married. It's probably like 10 years ago or something.
Do you still have the Discover?
No. I called to cancel it because, like, it wasn't, you know, you get those pre-auths and they've got like the fake credit card in them and you open them and you're like, oh no, it's trash. Yeah. This is a real card. This is legit. Like, this is like, hey, here's your credit limit and here's your interest rate and here's all your legal stuff and thanks for opening a Discover card. And I was like, no.
Not I.
So I also, like, well, I don't want to Discover. No one, who even uses Discover? So,
I use Discover.
Oh, do you?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I do use Discover, but it's like nowhere takes it.
Okay, yeah.
Is the problem.
Yeah.
Like, it's the only reason that I use it is like the cashback shit.
Oh, okay.
But no, I'm not offended, don't worry. Not that you really care about
this has been my last episode of the podcast. It's been real. No,
long live Discover. No, just kidding.
No, so I called to cancel and I'm like, hey, hello, hi. I did not open this. I would like to cancel it. And they're like, oh, well, do you know about the cashback? And I was like, I mean, that's fine, but like someone else apparently has my information and has opened this and quite likely has their own copy of this card and I really, really want to cancel it. And they're like, okay, so also the intro APR, and I was like, listen, I get that there's benefits and stuff, but like, you are not hearing me. Yeah. I did not open this. Yeah. I am afraid of whoever did. Yeah. I can't believe nothing else ever came of that. Like, I never got any, so like, crazy. I don't know how it happened. Yeah. Huh. Weird.
That is weird. But I'm telling you, it wouldn't surprise me in the least. I've donned the tinfoil hat. I'm sorry, but like, if they just didn't fucking like somehow have your information,
if they did it right
and just sent you a card and hoping that you wouldn't cancel it, kind of shit. You know, I hate to be like a, you know, whatever, but yeah, it's just.
No, I still wonder about that every now and then. I'm like, why? How?
Yeah. But yeah, dude, that's just bizarre. Yeah. That's super weird. Yeah. But anyway, so coming back to the Hong Kong protests, I don't even know how we went down that road, but anyway,
canceling stuff and not being able to, and yeah.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you. Keep me in track.
Gotta rein us in.
Yeah. So I kind of had another article that kind of goes, well, it definitely goes with the Hong Kong protest material. And basically what it was is, I pulled it from Engadget. Apple removes Hong Kong protest app following Chinese pressure. So basically what has happened is, you know, Apple, I think China is regarded as their third largest market, something along those lines, for Apple. And so there was this app that was developed, and it was called HK Map. And it was Apple wasn't even sure whether or not they wanted to list the app in the App Store, and they decided, okay, we're just going to go ahead and do it. Well, then they apparently were contacted by a governmental official of China. And the app has since been pulled. Now, the reason that they're saying that the person, let's see, let me get this right real quick. So it was written up in the China Daily, owned by the Communist Party of China, aka propaganda, the propaganda churner.
Okay, honest question: Does China own the media over there pretty much?
Oh yeah. Okay. Totally.
I thought so. I just wanted to make sure. Okay.
I think it's like kind of like the BBC.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So, but obviously, I would say a lot more insidious.
Sure. Sure.
But anyway, so in the write up in the China Daily, they were quoted as saying, rioters in Hong Kong, they were enabling rioters in Hong Kong to go on violent acts And they said that Apple needs to think about the consequences of its unwise and reckless decision.
That feels threatening to me, like the way they're wording that to Apple.
Oh, it's 100%.
Like, you know?
Yeah. And the thing is, dude, how easy would it be for them to just be like, hey, Apple, go fuck yourself, you know? Because, I mean, if not, I would say the vast majority, if not all, of Apple products are made in China and like assembled in the US kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, dude, they would take a huge hit. Well, so the HK Maps creators said that there was no evidence that the app had been used to target police or threaten public safety. They also used the example of Waze, which, if you're not familiar with it, get familiar with it. It's a fucking incredible GPS.
It's so great. It's the best GPS thing out there, and it's like it's cutesy. Like it works really well, but also like you just love seeing those little smiley like cloud guys.
Yeah, and you can like it. I don't know why this was always really funny to me, but if you click on somebody else that's like another Waze
you can
user,
beep at them.
You can beep at them, and it's just like you're stuck in traffic beeping at people around you. It's so stupid, but it's so amazing.
I was leaving work one time, and I worked in a really big corporate office, and they let us out a little bit too late for ice.
Yeah,
and everybody was getting wrecks, and like we were waiting to turn right at a red light, and like 3 cars in front of me just slid into each other. And I was like, well, I'm just sitting here and I'm going to be here for a while. I might as well, like, you can go into Waze and mark, hey, there's a wreck. Hey, there's debris on the road, whatever.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll just go mark this. I think like 20 people had already marked it. And I was like, so we're all just bored sitting here in the ice.
Yeah. Well, so that's, which you bring up a really good point.
The crowdsourcing.
Yeah, the crowdsourcing of the information for Waze, for instance. You're driving down I-40 and you see a police officer, you can report that a police officer is there. Waze was actually under a lot of fire recently because they were getting a bunch of shit for people reporting DUI checkpoints. Yeah. And basically I'm assuming the police probably didn't catch as many DUIs as they normally would or something along those lines.
Yeah.
So I mean, I get where they're coming from, but at the same time, it's not illegal for citizens to communicate. Yeah. You know, now take that with a grain of salt. Not yet.
Not as far as we know.
Yes, exactly. So they were actually these the creators of the HK Map app were using Waze as an example that basically helped users to avoid traffic cameras and police, and that was still permitted on the App Store.
Yeah.
And then they also said they noted that they are sure there have been occasions where criminal activity has been discussed and encouraged on platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Oh God, I wish they gave examples of what they mean by that.
I know, right?
Like, I was gonna say even the DUI stops. Like, I have seen people post that on Twitter and stuff.
Yeah.
But like, what do they mean about the criminal activity?
Yeah. It's super vague, and you know, I think that this is literally, obviously, anything that is going to give more power to these protesters in Hong Kong. Yeah. China ain't about it.
Yeah.
So they're just they're not happy about this, and apparently though the app is still available for desktop. But I don't feel like that would be very usul. It seems like you would need it in some kind of mobile form.
You're like calling home and you're like,
hey. Can you tell me where the next protest is happening?
Okay, wait. So this also says that Apple removed the Taiwan flag emoji from the iOS keyboards of users in Hong Kong. Mm-hmm. That's so weird.
Well, that's hearkening back to the whole origin
China
of
runs everything.
Well, that was basically how the protest started. Because the murder in Taiwan.
Right.
But I don't really know why that would really have any bearing.
Yeah.
Other than just them flexing their muscle that it's like, go fuck yourselves, Taiwanese, you know? God. But yeah, it's just really, really bizarre, and it's really, not really... It's unnerving. I wouldn't say terrifying. I don't want to sensationalize, but it's unnerving that China has this kind of a grip over happenings in the U.S., man. I mean, like, this, even though obviously I wouldn't think that there's a whole lot of users in the U.S. downloading the HK map, but it's like, but it's also one of these things that, they got it delisted from the App Store in general, you know? So it's like, what's to say that they couldn't say, oh, whatever, for some reason Waze is rubbing the Chinese government the wrong way, delist it, So it's one of those things that it's weird. I think that it shows that they have a substantial grasp over just the happenings of tech in the US, just because that's a huge that's just a huge market that the US would be missing out on if they rub them the wrong way. So, but anywho, I'll go ahead and wrap with that on the Hong Kong protest.
Man, we could talk the Hong Kong protests, or well, someone could. I don't know enough about it, but someone could talk about it all day.
If I prepped a little bit more, we could probably just have a But anyway, so let's talk about. Let's get into this SD stuff,
oh, man. I'm all in on this SD card.
Yeah.
This is so weird. Okay.
Super bizarre.
Also, I keep thinking about it, and I keep talking to everybody about it. My friends are like, "Shut the hell up! Like, why are you going on?" Yeah. And I'm like, "I'll talk about it on the podcast." So, God, I lost my notes. Okay, here we go. There's this guy who is South African, and he lives in Alaska, and he has been accused of murdering a woman in a hotel in Anchorage. Authorities say he was arrested after a citizen found an SD card lying on the street that contained graphic videos and photos showing the woman being murdered. Okay, I had
Let's just stop right there.
Dude, I... Just let it sink in.
Okay.
I've got so many questions, I made a damn list of my questions.
Yeah.
Why would you record this? Like, no, you should not ever murder.
Yes.
But also, recording it is a real good way to get caught or to get blackmailed for the rest of your life in some weird movie plot. Like, why? And if you record it, why would you put it on an SD card or USB thing or any kind of portable, like...
Yeah.
And from the way... I have so many feelings on this. And from the way this article is written, there was no encryption, there was no password. Like, this dude didn't have to hack this card when he found it. He just plugged it in and opened it up and saw this.
That is just so bizarre, man.
And if you're the guy who murdered someone and recorded it on an SD card and you lose that SD card, would you not look for that SD card? And if you couldn't find it, just go off the grid?
Yeah. That is just, well, plus, I mean, my thing is like, if you've got literally that hardcore of incriminating evidence. Yeah. And you're,
how did you lose that?
Yeah, how do you fucking lose that? It's like.
So when I was telling our buddy Mike about this yesterday, and he's like, Mike put his tinfoil hat on and was like, I think the guy wanted to get caught. I think this citizen who found it on the street really, like, dude just handed it to him, was like, I did a murder, and I was like, okay, I don't think that. But like, I don't know, it kind of feels like maybe he wanted it to be found.
Well, I find it hard because that's a bit. I mean, me and you listen to a shit ton of like true crime stuff. That is kind of like,
it's kind of too convenient.
Well, that's what's like romantic to a lot of these killers. That it's like the thrill of like potentially being caught. So I mean, like, I wouldn't put it past somebody just like literally whatever throwing something down and just being like, see what happens or whatever.
But I feel like if you were gonna do that, you'd just go for it and just mail it to the cops to start with.
Yeah, and that's a good point.
I don't know. The whole thing's weird, and like, and if you are this motherfucker who found this SD card laying on the street, what are you doing just plugging it into your computer? And when you do, and the file name is, it was something along the lines of, like, it had homicide. It was like homicide at Miller Bridge or something like that.
Oh, homicide at Midtown Marriott.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Like, then you still click on it to see? Like, no thank you.
Dude, just... Oh wait, here we go. Here's a paragraph explaining it. The same man that plugged this random SD card into his computer last week fell prey to a Nigerian prince scam.
Stop it! I was So I was like, did I miss this explanation? Damn it.
He's a scammer's dream.
Scammers hate him for this one trick.
Yeah. Oh, that's fucking awesome.
No, and also, apparently, so the guy was like, okay, I gotta take this to the cops. He takes it to the cops, and the cops are like, oh yeah, that's Brian Stevenson. We're already looking into him. Excuse me? For what? What else has he done?
Yeah.
Like, they knew him by face. When they saw him, they were like, oh, it's this guy. Like,
oh, that's old crazy Brian.
I really want to know what else they were after him for, and it didn't say.
Jeez, dude.
Oh, this story is insane.
Oh, this is kind of weird. Cell phone records trace Smith to having been at the place where the remains were found within minutes of when the last photo on the SD card was. That's also creepy.
It's clearly your face on there, so like that already checks out.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's creepy though. Ugh.
It's just like, dude, we're being tracked constantly.
Yeah.
Just remember that.
And man, I saw a little bit more detail in some other article where this guy, he had some like racist Facebook post from like 5 years ago, and it was way racist. Like it was something like, keep sending my money to the people in Africa so the black people there can wash the white people's bloods off their hands for the crimes they've committed. And I'm like,
what?
Whoa.
Jesus.
I don't know why he killed this woman.
Yeah.
They don't seem to know like how he knew her, if he knew her.
Yeah.
Ugh.
That's weird, man. Super weird.
Yeah. Wild story.
Yeah, that is a super fucking wild story. Yeah, cool. Well, I'll tell you what, man. While we're still on the topic of murder,
let's do some
big
big murder. I can't say it the way they do. Big murder news this week. Samuel Little is now the official worst serial killer in U.S. history. So this guy has been in jail for a little while, and he's worked with the police and basically said, I'll tell you where I'll tell you about some more bodies if you don't give me the death penalty. So they agreed. He has confessed to 93 murders, and the FBI has now verified at least 50 of those. And I bet they're gonna verify more, because apparently
that's what it sounded like.
Yeah,
honestly.
like I think they're definitely still working for it, and they're asking people to come forward if they know anything. So the guy has a photographic memory, and he's been drawing sketches of the faces of the women that he strangled and beat to death, which is so eerie.
That is super creepy, dude. I guarantee you there's already a documentary in the works about this guy.
Sure. Yeah. Last podcast covered this really well this week on their Side Stories episode, and they were saying,
I wonder if they'll do a full episode.
I don't know. They were kind of saying, since it's like solving a bunch of cold cases and stuff, like there's probably other like cold case specific podcasts that are already deep in covering it.
Yeah.
So they may not do. I mean, they may cover it if something big more comes out. But yeah, they talked for like 15 minutes or so about it. They made a lot of good points. They say they brought a thing up that I hadn't seen mentioned anywhere else. Apparently, there's a DNA for Cash program. Where homeless people are approached at shelters and given $20 for their DNA, which is how a lot of murders are getting solved now.
Dude, that is just so random and creepy, and just like, I don't know. It
just seems bad.
Yeah. I mean, like, I was telling Allie about this, and I can't remember exactly where it was taking place, but and we covered it on Tether. About these people that were driving around in like nondescript white vans and basically paying people or doing like quote free DNA test for like predisposition to diseases and illnesses and shit.
I wonder if that's how they're presenting it to these homeless people.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, because I mean, like, it was just this weird thing, and I mean, all these people were just fucking doing it.
Yeah,
and then like they're like, oh, I was supposed to get my results in 4 weeks, and it's it's been 4 months, and I hadn't heard anything, and I don't have anybody to contact.
Well, keep checking your email. It should be a Nigerian prince. He'll reach out shortly.
Yeah, exactly. You only have to send him $500, and he'll send you $500,000.
Yeah, Western Union, get at it.
His accounts are locked up. That's what he needs. But no, it was some really eerie shit that it's like, man, we are in the age of data just being like priceless
and creepy.
And creepy.
So creepy.
Yeah, and just being able to just being able to solve these cold cases.
Yeah.
Just from not even having the specific person's DNA, it's like a relative, like twice removed, and somehow they're able to like extrapolate to this, to these people.
That's I was saying before we recorded. There's a lot of, like, if you really dig for news on it, DNA is out there solving cold cases in the U.S. daily now. Yeah, and it's awesome. And I hate that it doesn't get more press. But there are so many that get solved, and I really see them on a couple subreddits. I think the true crime subreddit and the unresolved mysteries ones. But I mean, there's posts every day saying, here's a cold case you never heard of, but like I saw it mentioned. And sometimes it's bigger ones, like the orange socks lady. Like that was like 40 years unsolved, and they solved it recently. But
so crazy.
It's cool, and I wish it got more press, because that's awesome. And it is a lot of it is these people just being like, I want to fill out my family tree and see what my ancestry is.
The Ancestry.com, 23andMe, and all that jazz, man. Which it's so funny, because I just got to the episodes on the last podcast that they started doing 23andMe plugs, and I was like, oh guys, no.
I think I can't remember who, but I think 2 of the hosts did it, and one of them didn't. I want to think Ben didn't.
Oh, would be my guess. That would be my guess.
And he's like, whatever, you guys sold your souls, but okay.
Yeah. Because I know that
of course Marcus did it, because he loves research and dirt.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how we're able to use, or how the police departments are able to use that information.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like you said, they're solving shit left and right. Yeah. So,
well, this guy also, he was active from 1970 to 2005.
Wow, man.
So, and last podcast made a really good point. They said, like, yeah, people love, like, hearing about this stuff and, like, the justice porn aspect of it. But, like, this guy's 79. He got away with it. He lived his whole life.
He lived his whole life,
and so, like, it is good to get some closure for the victims' loved ones and stuff, but this isn't justice.
No,
and he's probably got a pretty cushy prison situation now, because apparently when you get to confessing, you, like, you're not in general population anymore. They give you all the cigarettes and coffee and stuff you want. Like, just a lot of, like...
Damn, that sounds like heaven. Well... all the cigarettes and coffee you can handle. Well, I guess in prison standards, that's pretty much close to...
sure, you're in prison. Yeah, sure. But, like, you're not as bad off as a lot of people in prison.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, so he just keeps making these sketches, and... he even said he just killed women that he knew wouldn't be missed. The whole less dead idea. Like, people don't look for sex workers, drug addicts, women of color, and a lot of these were, several of those. And it's so sad.
Yeah, it's super, super sad. And I mean, which I think you literally just hit on this, but it was just the fact that the FBI just doesn't really investigate.
Yeah, they just... I just heard something mentioned... about the FBI. And
are the voices talking to you again?
No, I'm just trying to think. I'm like rubbing my temple like something's like incoming through my antenna that you can't see. The FBI have some it was mentioned on my Stephen King's new The Institute. I was listening to the audiobook of that, and they mentioned the FBI talking about the less dead, but they've got like an acronym for it. It's like NHMI or something like that.
Yeah.
I think it was a non-human missing person or something was what it stood for. What? Again, this is a fiction book, so maybe that's not a real thing, but like I could see it.
Oh, dude. I see. That's the funny thing that I love about, I love, and I don't know, it's kind of terrifying about entertainment. Yeah. Is the vast majority of it is completely founded in reality. Yeah. You know, that it's like, you see a really cool, for instance, like the movie Seven or something. Yep. Dude, can guarantee you that, like, my grandmother always had this saying that she would use all the time. There's nothing new under the sun. Mm-hmm. And literally, I guarantee you the writers of that just pulled from cases that they had heard about and like combined and, took a little creative liberty with it and all that stuff. But I guarantee somebody in history existed that was, did some kind of like fucked up thing like that, Yeah. But
I just searched trying to find this acronym I'm thinking of and figure out what it stands for, and I searched FBI term for not human, and I just was hoping it would autocomplete the rest of that. The related searches are gold. I have to read some of these. Why would the FBI be involved? There's one that says, why would the FBI come to your house? And there's one that says, what will the FBI investigate? Yeah. Like, dude, I know I'm on some watch lists because I Google anything that comes to mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my
man,
God.
I love it.
Yeah, my God.
But yeah, this Samuel Little guy, he's awful, and I hope they either somehow prove that he's lying and he didn't kill 93 women, or they solve as many of them as they can. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. For sure. But it's I guess it's nice to know that there's another. Well, was he already behind bars? He's been behind bars for I think a few years.
Yeah,
I think from what I saw.
Gotcha. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, like you said,
he also he retired. Like he quit killing in 2005.
He retired.
I don't know if I knew. Wording it.
But
I'm done killing bitches.
Yeah, I'm done here. I'm done killing non-humans. But all right. Well, speaking of death, let's talk about the death of comedy again.
Oh no!
I'm just kidding.
Okay. Back to how the sausage is made. On our little spreadsheet where we each put our like links and like notes of what we want to cover. Daniel put this one up, and the title is Big Mouth co-creator responds to backlash over season 3's pansexual character. So I like look at it and I read the article, and Daniel had left me a note that said, what did it say? It said something like, you still want to say cancel culture is bullshit and not ruin comedy? And I put, okay, I will bring a small hat to eat when we record.
Let's see here. I said, are you sure cancel culture isn't killing comedy, or at least making it difficult to come up with a, quote, inoffensive joke? So she responded with that. So I was like, oh my God. I was like laughing out loud at my computer, and Megan was asking what the hell I was laughing at. So.
But man, I do like... I do think cancel culture is not like that bad as people say, and then an article like this comes out, and I'm like, ah.
Well, it's just it's one of these things, and I'm gonna get into this. I have not. I'm actually a fan of Big Mouth. I think it's actually a pretty damn funny show.
It sounds like everybody's a fan of Big Mouth.
It's gotten some really a lot of traction lately.
Yeah.
I actually showed a couple episodes to my parents, and they actually thought it was kind of funny.
Oh, wow.
But it is extremely progressive in regards to talking about sexuality and stuff. And pretty much the premise of the show is these middle schoolers are starting to go through puberty and stuff. And so it's like the shit that you go through, and it's a cartoon comedy. But I would 100% recommend it. I think it's actually pretty entertaining. But anyway, so they came under fire because they ended up bringing in a character that was basically the character identified as pansexual, and the way that they explained it on the show was a food analogy, which I'll read the little I'll read the little thing, the quote from the show. Some of you borings like tacos, and some of you like burritos, and if you're bisexual, you like tacos and burritos. But I'm saying I like tacos and burritos, and I could be into a taco that was born a burrito, or a burrito that is transitioning into a taco. So
that just makes my head spin. I'm sorry.
Oh no, dude, I'm telling you. And like which I actually have another article that's kind of into this gender. I've kind of gotten like caught up in this this gender identity and stuff, because it has gotten so ungodly complicated.
Yeah.
That like you have to. I told Megan I was reading something in one of the other articles, and I didn't understand what I was reading. Like, it was so damn complicated.
Oh yeah,
But anyway, so basically what they were saying is that pansexual meant that you could literally pan, meaning I think broad or whatever. I
think pan kind of just means any.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, you could be into trans, you could be into whatever, transgender, transvestite, or whatever. Yeah, I don't.
I think we quit using the word transvestite, yo.
Oh, what is that?
It's just transgender now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think transvestite's kind of way retired now.
Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha. All right, whoops.
I think trans. Also, what I don't think people say
is it just trans?
Trans, and it always only means transgender is my understanding.
Okay.
I think.
Let's see. Like
but
I
again,
said,
it's so complicated.
Yeah, it's complicated shit. So, so basically, they were saying that her explanation of bi was not accurate, and her explanation of pansexual was not accurate.
Yeah.
Because bi meant binary, was people thought of binary, so male and female, and apparently like that's not necessarily the case.
Yeah.
And like they were talking about, which this is just like, geez, dude. Somebody tweeted back to the show or whatever and was like, not only is this biphobic, transphobic, and panphobic with extremely incorrect definitions, but they've made this weird image where pansexuality is seen as morally higher than bisexuality. Not only that, but everyone in the room treated the term pansexual like a dirty word. And they were talking about everybody in the room in regards to the show.
In the show, yeah.
But it's one of these things that it's like, dude, like, why do people care so much what everybody else thinks?
Yeah, like,
and because that's kind of what comes out to me.
I just don't like your business about who you are attracted to, who you want to sleep with, who you want to marry, anything like that is just not my business.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Yeah, I don't get it.
And so it's just, I don't know. I mean, it's like, do I it's not that I even give a shit about any of this. No. I just think it's your own damn business.
Exactly.
Just don't, and just keep it your own damn business. Yeah. It's like, do I run around screaming from the mountaintops that I'm a cis fucking heterosexual male? No, I don't.
Honestly, dude, you kind of do. I've been meaning to talk to you about that.
Yeah, I know. We're recording right now, and I'm flexing my bicep and pecs at Allie every once in a while just to make sure that she's paying attention.
It's really strange.
But
I think like I don't know. I like when gay marriage was being passed and so many people were mad. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Like I've got a very close friend who's gay and he is getting married in like 3 weeks. I'm super pumped for him.
Yeah.
And like, but I've joked to him like ever since gay marriage got so much press. I like once a month or so I'll be like, you having the ability to get married really hinders my straight marriage.
Yeah, right.
It's really bothering my straight marriage. Like, no, it doesn't. It doesn't affect me at all. Like, and they should have that right. And they should like, why does anyone care?
Yeah, yeah, and that's the other thing is it's like it's a cartoon show on Netflix. Now, granted, it's being seen by a lot of people, and I understand the people being mad that it's being misrepresented, like literally inaccurately represented.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't know what the fucking right definite, I mean, like I'm sitting here and I'm reading this shit and I don't know what I'm reading. Yeah. Kind of a lot of the times,
I think what made a lot of people irritated with this is they did use it as this is going to be a teaching moment. We're going to present how people should get this. Yeah. And they didn't do it right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think they're saying.
So it's just more an inaccurate, like, representation kind of stuff. Yeah.
Like, I mean, this article's pretty scathing to be from Mashable. Yeah. Like, it feels like an opinion piece, honestly. But it's, it is basically saying, like, the show was saying bi only means you're attracted to cis men and cis women, like people who were born and still identify as one gender, and that people who are trans are a whole different category, and only pansexuals are attracted to trans people no matter their gender. And like it it seemed like a problematic way to explain it.
Well, in addition to the fact that like everybody refers, and I say everybody, I'm not going to say everybody. A lot of people refer to the the community as LGBT.
Yeah, well, I think there are a lot more. Okay, so I think it's LGBT and the Q sometimes is included, and the Q is queer, and I think queer can encompass a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Well, this is kind of what I was getting at, is the fact that it's like they talk about it like it's this cohesive community.
Yeah.
And dude, they hate each other.
There's so many different.
It's so crazy.
Yeah.
All the letters hate each other. Like, I mean, I'm not trying to like make light of it, but it's like they really, it's interesting because it's like, oh, well, I don't want to be fucking known as that.
Right.
I'm this.
Oh my gosh. It's like, a friend of mine mentioned that she saw an article that said pedophile, like the pedophile community or whatever they are.
Yeah.
Are like, there's a movement for them to be included in the LGBTQ category. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh no. Like, I don't really think anyone's accepting of pedophiles.
No.
Like, you're a no.
You're a sex offender.
Yeah, you can't be part of.
That is not no. That is not part of the group. No. But it's this is just, well, and then something else that kind of rubs me the wrong way is because it's like, okay, maybe they did fuck up.
Yeah. I don't think they meant any harm. And I think they're getting treated like they set out to change the rules or change the classification
or something.
I don't think they meant any harm, but I just don't think they did it as well as they could have.
Yeah, and just everybody having to issue like official apologies and stuff. I mean, are you on board with this?
I mean, I just like, how long have we even like used the word pansexual?
Yeah,
like. If you tried to explain to my mom, who's great and accepting and loving, what a pansexual was, she'd be like, that sounds like bisexual to me. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Nothing against mom, but like, a lot of people just don't think about gender identity a lot. They just don't.
Yeah. And I think that's what it's kind of another interesting thing is that it's brought up all of these sexual orientations or gender identities and stuff like that. It's brought up like it's talked about all the time.
Yeah, and I guess that totally means that depends on who you are and who you're talking to and stuff.
Oh yeah, like, true.
I have my buddy that's getting married pretty soon. We talk a lot about gender identity and stuff, and how we don't understand a lot of it and how it's so confusing. And like we talked to hell about this article this week because I don't know. I feel like, again, to use my mom as an example. I think this would have done a pretty good job explaining the very basic difference in pan and bi to my mom, who doesn't think about it, but to someone who does think about it and who is,
maybe they view it as like an oversimplification kind of
probably
thing.
Yeah. And I think it could work as a general quick explanation to somebody who doesn't know about it. But I think because Big Mouth is so much about sexuality and gender identification and all that, their audience generally are going to be more educated than the average Joe.
Yeah.
So it was a little too dumbed down for their audience, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That makes sense, though. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So they were just catching a lot of flack over this, and they kind of closed out this article with basically Andrew Goldberg and Nick Kroll, who were the creators of the show, basically said that they missed the mark. They were sorry if they offended anybody, and that it's really difficult to really give a solid definition of, honestly. Well, and I'm kind of extrapolating out from their apology, almost from like an ever changing thing, because it's constantly thing. We're constantly. I mean, hell, dude, people are constantly figuring out who they are. Yeah. And it is the utmost of gray areas. There is no black and white to it kind of thing.
I think they did. I mean, their apology sounds sincere, and I think, I think you really do have to think about intent, and they did not mean any harm, I don't think.
I would agree.
And I hope that people who were upset about the misrepresentation, do like this apology and accept it, because they said, moving forward, we'll try to do better, and we'll try to delve into this more, and I hope they do.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, that's really the only thing that they can do anyway, is apologize, move forward, try not to make that mistake again.
Yeah. Man, talk about being complicated. Being a middle schooler, in my day, no one was out as gay.
Yeah.
And let alone bi. And I don't think pan was a word yet.
A pan was something we cooked eggs in.
Sure. Yep.
I was just kidding. Sorry, not hating. Just that, literally the times just in our generation or our lifetimes have just changed immensely.
And we're not that old. I mean, we're pretty old. Yeah. We're not that old.
We're on the cusp of being outside of the main target audience for programming. We're a couple years in. But so while we're kind of on the topic of the LGBT stuff, you want to hop into this now,
this one's a doozy.
This one's a doozy, and I do want to throw a huge ass Tether Radio asterisk by it, because I did pull this from Sky News.
Yeah.
So take it with a grain of salt, man. If this basically, Allie and I were talking about it, and we think that there has to be some bit of accuracy in this, right?
Even if it's exaggerated, even if there's still, they make good points, and it's still
But yeah, so pulled it from Sky News. Hundreds of young trans people seeking help to return to original sex. The little subtitle was a woman who detransitioned in 2018 says there are many people who have had gender reassignment surgery who wish they hadn't. So, first of all, let me say that all jokes aside, my heart goes out to these people if they are truly dealing with this kind of an identity crisis.
Yeah,
my heart goes out to them, because I cannot even imagine
it's gotta
having
be so complicated.
A body that I don't feel like is accurate to my mental status, kind of thing, or mental whatever identity. And
also, huge disclaimer, I don't know how well this article is written as far as how sensitive they are to how they should word things.
Yes.
So, just a disclaimer that if we word things in remotely offensive ways, we really don't mean to.
Dude, and also, I would even be as... hey, you know where to contact us. Tetherradio@gmail.com, man. Because, honestly, I would like to be set straight on this shit. Yeah. Because I think that the only thing that you can do is get informed, and then come to your own conclusions, kind of thing.
So we're definitely open to discussion or anything. So, yeah.
So, this starts off with a woman,
No, I think now she identifies as she's a she now.
She's a she.
Yes,
okay,
yes.
Born a female. See, I
know we're already trying so hard not to.
So Charlie Evans, 28, was born female but identified as male for nearly 10 years before detransitioning. Detransitioning sounds exactly like what it is.
Yeah,
it's literally going back to what originally you were born as, I guess. And so basically, her story came out, and they pretty much wanted to just give it a little bit more, just get her story out and put a little bit more light on it, and because apparently she's not a fringe case kind of thing. This is a lot. There's a lot more people. According to this article, there's a lot more people that would fall under this category of wanting to detransition. So let's see. She was talking about how she was in communication with 19 and 20-year-olds who have had full gender reassignment surgery, who wish they hadn't, and their dysphoria hasn't been relieved. They don't feel better for it.
Okay, so I'm under the impression that most doctors won't let you have gender reassignment surgery without, I think you have to be 18. I think I may be wrong on that, but it may be, at least you got to be through puberty, probably. Just dude, biologically
this is gonna blow your gourd because you're talking about the puberty stuff, and they actually they were talking about. Let me find it real quick. The Tavistock and Portman NHS Trust offers gender identity services for children under 18 with some patients as young as 3 or 4 years old. Now you're getting into the area that I'm like, dude, you don't even know.
I'm not at all trying to be insensitive. Yeah. I probably should not say this, but a 3 or 4 year old. Whoa, sorry, getting active with the hands. A 3 or 4 year old really, and I'm not saying like a 30-year-old would do this, but a 3 or 4 year old might try to identify as a fire truck.
Yeah,
and that does not mean that they really will, or that that's long term, or that's like I don't think you know much of anything about anything when you're 3 or 4, let alone your identity, your body, and like, I don't know. And I've always been a tomboy, so I get that, but I've never identified as male.
Yeah. So, well, no, and honestly, I would probably put you and Megan in the same category. Yeah, it's like you guys are down for being girls and stuff, but you're not gonna wear fucking flowers in your hair and like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Just like take it to the nth degree of like feminism kind of thing.
But yeah, as a 3 or 4 year old, like that seems harmful to the child, honestly. It does.
And it's just, it's one of these things that, like, somebody was talking about, like, letting, which I'm actually, I don't have any problem with this at all, but, like, a little boy that wants to wear a dress or something. Yes. Fucking A, dude. Yes. Let him explore.
But let him, surgery, I draw the line at a surgery on a 4-year-old.
And like, therapy for these, even just therapy, like, I feel... This is me just being... when you're 3 or 4 years old, the main shit that you are projecting is a reflection of your folks or whoever's bringing you up. And so it's like...
Or absolutely, if you've been through some trauma, like, you know, that's going to be... but...
And I'm not trying to oversimplify this, but it's one of those things that you're not really thinking on your own, in my opinion, you know? And it's like, for instance, I mean, dude, we're talking about a year from now for Finn.
Yeah.
Like, there's no fucking way in hell that he has any idea what it even means to be
or that he could even express to you, I really feel like a girl, Daddy.
Yeah.
Like, it's
bizarre, but...
Or if he does, and he wants to wear a dress, and he wants to go by Finn, I don't know what you'd make a girl version of Finn name, but, you know, I mean, like, fine and sure, and you can, you know, support him in that and work with him in that, but, like... Not the reassignment surgery when he's 4.
Yeah, and I don't think that they're really talking about the necessarily gender reassignment.
Okay,
but it's like basically starting the wheels turning on therapy. That it's like, oh well, this kid is telling me that he's a girl today or something like that, and so maybe we need to whatever.
No, I do. I don't have a hard line of like when you turn 11 and a half or something, but like, but I do think probably a 12-year-old who probably could make, you know, a decision and say...
I'd say right around puberty, right? Because, I mean, it's like, oh, this is... I don't feel...
Yes.
I don't feel like I'm how I am, how I look, or something, you know? Which, at the same time, it kind of... Because I think she actually... she was talking about having trouble with image issues, like self-image issues and stuff, which completely makes sense. If you know, if you're experiencing gender dysphoria, that makes sense. You know, to have image issues and stuff. And something else that you actually pointed out was the fact that because she was talking about she being Charlie. Says she's been contacted by hundreds of people seeking help. 30 people just alone in near her area in Newcastle. She was quoted as saying, "I think some of the common characteristics are that they tend to be around their mid-20s. They're mostly female and mostly same-sex attracted and often autistic as well." Which, throwing in the autistic thing... You know, obviously the autism is a spectrum. You can have super high functioning autistic people that you would barely know that they were autistic.
Yep.
And then you have people that need to be taken care of because they can't function. Right. You know, because whatever the degree of autism.
And some of these people might be self-identifying as autistic.
Yeah.
And not be diagnosed.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And so, because that's literally we're just going on what is within this article.
Yeah.
So
it's not as deep dive as I wish it was.
Yeah, exactly. But no, it was just, it's strange because it almost, and I don't want to be out of line saying this, but it's almost like some of these people, because they're talking about detransitioning in their mid-20s, and it almost rings true to where it's like, oh, well, I've made this choice as a young or a whatever teenager,
sure,
and now I regret this choice because maybe I just wasn't thinking straight or something. And obviously, don't take it that way, but straight, right? But that it was like, I mean, dude, I don't know about you, but I made some pretty big fucking mistakes, like, you know, in my teenage years.
Oh, sure.
But obviously nothing on the scale of this.
Yeah. Like I got my first tattoo on my 18th birthday. Yeah. And I don't regret it, but I totally could.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I'm totally different than I was at 18.
Yeah, exactly. And
okay, I'm not totally different, but you know what I mean. But
for sure.
But I know people who got married at 18, 19, 20, and in their mid-20s, they were like, who is this person? Yeah. Why would I have married this?
What the hell did I do?
Yeah, so I mean, there's that. There's, sure, you're going to have regrets and you're going to have, you know, self-doubt and stuff, but I just don't know about feeling like your whole identity, your gender has completely changed. Yeah. And twice?
Yeah.
Like, it changed, whoops, I was wrong, and then you go back. I can't wrap my head around that being a common thing. Sure, it probably happens, but this person is making it out to be...
Well, in 10 years, it seems like it would be one of those things that, like, if you went and you started the therapy, you know, the hormonal therapy, you're going to be well under your way within a few years kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it seems like at that point, it would be like, ooh, maybe I made a mistake or something. But I don't know. I mean, shit, you know, I don't think that this... The other thing that I don't like about this article, actually, is because they use percentages for increases instead of actual numbers. Oh. So it's one of those things that it's like they said, the NHS trust that I mentioned earlier, Tavistock and Portman, they now have a record number of referrals and see 3,200% more patients than they did 10 years ago. So it's like, okay, so if you were seeing like 3 patients,
sure,
now you're seeing,
easy to increase.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But so that kind of rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah, they're just wording it that way to make it sound more aggressive.
Yeah.
And also, of course, you're seeing more people do that because people are realizing this is an option.
Yeah.
Because again, when we were teenagers, this was not a thing that people had done. Like
nobody even talked about it.
You had jokes in movies about people getting sex changes. But you never heard about.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. But yeah, it was just it was really weird because this is the first. I don't know about you, but this is the first that I heard of the word detransitioning.
Yeah, that was a new word to me, and
people.
And the concept itself, like I have not seen any. I've not sought them out either, so there may be some out there. But
but dude, just some kind of kooky stuff. I would 100% recommend people check it out, see what's up. And dude, if you can... And
she's launching a charity called the Detransition Advocacy Network.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So that could be neat.
Yeah. I mean, like, dude, the thing is I'm all about people needing help, receiving help.
Yes.
You know, in any way possible. I just hope that, I hope they're able to, get some kind of peace in their peace of mind, honestly. But, anywho, I'm looking at the time. We're running a little bit long, but I do want to do one last one real quick.
Sure. Which one?
Tell me what a Visco girl is.
Oh, no! I was hoping to dodge this one, because the more I looked at it, the dumber I felt.
I just didn't want to end on that, because it was...
that was kind of dark.
It was kind of, it was kind of heavy.
Oh, so a damn Visco girl. All right. So if you are an old millennial like me, and like Dan here.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, I'm going to trademark old millennial, so you guys might want to get some t-shirts made or whatever.
Yes.
But you may not know what the fuck the youth are ever talking about. And I am extremely online, and you are too. But but I kept seeing mentions of Visco girls, and it's such a thing right now that when I went to Google it, it auto-completed. Like, I was like, what is a V and I know one of the results was virgin.
Yeah.
And there was like one more. It might have been like vegan or something.
Yeah.
And the third one was Visco Girl. So like people
Virgin,
are out here
vegan,
searching.
and Visco
Hey,
Girls.
that might be all the same person. I don't know. So it's pretty much a
amazing.
new word for a type of a basic bitch. Minus the pumpkin spice latte. They weren't really specific about that. But, a lot of these girls are out here wearing oversized t-shirts that kind of eclipse their shorts. So you're like, is that girl just wearing a shirt?
So just look in the mirror next time and ask yourself, am I a basic bitch? That's what I ask myself every morning.
Dude, I'm a basic bitch in a lot of ways, but they also have that trendy Fall Raven backpack. Like, if you've seen it, you know it. Like, it's like really square looking and stuff, but it's still kind of cute. And honestly,
I think I have seen that.
I was looking at buying one because I like them.
Dude, but see, this is the thing. This
But I like a
comes
functional
full.
backpack, and that thing's garbage as far as functionality
Really?
goes. Yeah.
That's the thing is, it's like, what the fuck do you care about, like, whether someone thinks you're a basic bitch or something, you know? Or I'm a basic bitch or
it's all
whoever.
pretty lighthearted. It's just
Yeah.
talking about, like, basically there's a lot of girls out here who are almost wearing a uniform. Like,
Yeah.
they've got a hydro flask with stickers on it, and they wear scrunchies, and puka shell necklaces are coming back, which I never thought would happen.
Oh my god, dude. That just always makes me think, like, you knew that your buddy, like, went to the beach when he comes back with a puka shell, like, choker.
Dude, I worked with a guy who wore the puka shell necklace,
Yeah.
but he was still wearing it in, like, 2010, and I'm like, where could you even buy one of these?
Dude.
One of the things
Did
wear...
he also have frosted tips?
He'd used to.
Yeah.
But that was probably like high school age when he had those.
Jesus.
Oh yeah, he drove an Eclipse. Oh man.
Yes.
But way after.
Yeah.
Like way after they were a thing. And he thought he was such a badass. I would pull up beside him at a red light and be like, this douche. And then I'd realize it was the guy I knew.
That's awesome.
Also, one thing they wear are those Pura Vida bracelets that are basically like a thread, but they're like adjustable. And I've got like 4 or 5 of them because I just think they're cute.
That's awesome. That is amazing. Jeez, dude.
Yeah, so they so Visco is a photo editing app that I've used a couple times, but I've had it for like years. I didn't realize people use it. Like,
I hadn't even heard of it until you you
so
sent
there's
this.
a social feed on it. I think it launched when Instagram was really blowing up, and no one really stuck with it. Like I see a
okay.
few people use its editing stuff, but then still post it to their Instagram.
Yeah.
And I've done that a few times too.
Yeah.
But Visco actually has a social feed for your photos on there.
Oh,
but
wow.
these girls who are doing this don't try as hard for their Visco stuff. So they're more just quick snaps of stuff, not like really staged cutesy selfies and bikini pictures and stuff that they put on Insta. And Visco, even though it's a social feed, they don't have likes or comments. So that's pretty cool. You're just
honestly,
putting
I
stuff
do.
out
Yeah,
there.
I do like that because
Yeah.
I think the whole likes and comments shit's kind of
It's such a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Like, it can be great, but I catch myself being like, this didn't get as many likes as I thought. Is it because I posted it in the evening and not the morning? And like,
yeah.
I think too much about that
Yeah,
garbage.
for sure. Wait, scrunchies?
Scrunchies,
Seriously?
dude. Oh, scrunchies are way back.
Really?
They are everywhere.
Jesus.
Like,
I
Sarah
did
and
not
I were
know.
shopping last weekend, and
Yeah.
they're, I mean, there's packs of them
Birkenstocks.
at Old Navy and Target and everywhere.
I
Yeah,
had some
Birkenstocks.
Birkenstocks. I had the closed-toed, like...
We all had the clogs.
Yeah.
We all had those.
Yeah, dude.
And they, like, killed your calves because you had to kind of keep your toes
Yeah.
curled to keep them on.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Oh my god, I just realized something.
Uh-oh.
I'm a Visco girl.
Oh, shit, I
I'm
knew it.
identifying
I
as a
knew it.
Visco girl. No, I'm just kidding.
That's insensitive.
I know, I'm sorry. I'll issue an apology after the show.
Oh shit, you better tweet it. But yeah, like the more I looked at this, the more confused I got.
Dude,
Like,
yeah,
It
this is
kind of
just-
is just a... And this article kind of sucks. They don't get into as many details as I had wished. I
This
know.
looks Photoshop. Like, her legs are, like, somehow bigger below and above the shorts. Like,
Oh, maybe her
like
shorts
it's
are like so tight. They're
that fucking tight?
I think so. Also, if you scroll, I scrolled on that. There's like a couple pictures.
Yeah.
She stretches and like you can see her under boob. I'm like, ma'am, excuse me.
Jeez, dude.
See that?
Yeah. I'm seeing some underboob over. Oops. Oh god.
Oh no. No, Visco girls seem just kind of cutesy and just
Yeah.
very like they're also kind of like consumer aware. Like they use metal straws and
Got you.
they try to buy from companies that give back to...
So is it literally just like really staying on trends kind of thing?
Yeah, but it's kind of a specific trend. Like, it's kind of just like this whole... Dude, if you go sit at a Starbucks for an hour, anywhere, even here in town, you'll see a couple of these girls.
Gotcha.
But they're always cute.
I might have to go and just, see a Visco girl out in the wild.
Yeah, you gotta see them.
All right, man. Well, I'm looking at the time. We're definitely over. So we'll go ahead and give you our little social jingle. I hope you guys enjoyed this as much as we did talking about this stuff.
It was a fun time. This is a good episode.
Yeah, this is a good one. This is a keeper.
Oh, before we get way into the social stuff, I literally last night made us a Facebook closed group.
Cool.
So if you're not super on Facebook, like I am all in these closed groups, that just means you can join it. We'll let anybody in.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
Obviously there's moderation, but not like a ton. You can say whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, just general, don't be a dick. But a closed group means you're in it, but like
you have to get approved to be in it.
Yeah, but the big thing is your other friends on your Facebook are not seeing every move you make in the group. They're not seeing anything you do in it. They're not even seeing that you're a member of it.
Yeah. So if you're really embarrassed of your Tether radio addiction,
I don't mean that, but we talk some controversial stuff, and like you don't want Aunt Suzanne knowing that you do have a Finsta and you brought it up in the Tether podcast radio group.
Yeah,
but I called it Tether Radio After Dark because I thought that was funny.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah,
I like
it's
that.
Good. It's good.
Like it. Yeah, so go submit for a request to get in the group, and we'll get that approved shortly.
Yeah, I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and we're also working currently on getting a presence on Reddit as a subreddit. We got to wait a little while because we're making new accounts, and you just got to basically you have to be or whatever, have an active account. You have to have
so much like karma and stuff.
Yeah. So we're working on that, and but for the time being, check out the podcast on whatever your favorite podcast listening device and platform is. Also, we should be available on Spotify shortly.
Yep.
I would guess within the next couple of weeks. Yeah. Also, one last thing. Throw us a review if you get a little time.
Yeah.
We need some reviews. If you hate it, cool. Let us know. Let us know how we can be better people, or whatever you think you want to opine on the situation. But anyway, so hit us up at tetherradio@gmail.com. That is TETHERRADIO@gmail.com. We are on Twitter at tether_radio. We're also on Instagram at tether_radio, doing some work on getting a little more active on these different platforms and stuff. Retweet us, tweet at us, reply, DM, whatever.
Send us weird shit.
Yeah,
we love weird shit.
We're into that shit. So we're also on Zuckerberg's face bag, Tether Radio, all one word. Yeah, man, this has been episode 70 of the Tether Radio podcast. I'm Daniel.
I'm Allie.
And we are wishing you guys a fantastic week and look forward to catching up with you next week. Take it easy, guys.
Bye.